We'll start the April 18th Supervisors Meeting. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start the conditional use hearing, I'd just like to announce we had an executive session in regards to personnel prior to the meeting tonight. That's why we're running a little late. Zoning, we're here to have a conditional use hearing for Lena Wolf, DBA LWR Hair Expressions, to operate a single operator two-chair salon in a residence located at 202 Country Club Road. And Keating Lot combination. I'll turn the meeting over to Attorney Panucci now to conduct the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As stated, this is the time and date that's been duly advertised in accordance with the provisions of the Scott Township zoning ordinance as well as the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code for a public hearing regarding the application of Lena Marie Wolf, TDBA LWR Hair Expressions. It's an application to allow a single person stylist hair salon located in her residence at 202 Country Club Road, Scott Township, Pennsylvania, consisting of approximately 2.86 acres. I will note that, well, Mr. Ferraro just stepped out, but the matter was advertised once a week for 2 successive weeks in a newspaper of general circulation. Correct, Mr. Ferraro?
It is correct. It was advertised in the Scranton Times twice, and reviewed by the Planning Commission this evening prior to this meeting.
Under the terms and conditions of the Scott Township zoning ordinance, specifically Article 4, Section 401, governs home occupations, which govern here, as well as those provisions of the ordinance, I believe it's 6, regarding conditional uses. I'll get the specifics. So I'll get the specific section before we conclude. So with that, Mr. Ferraro, would you do you have any presentation you'd like to make regarding this application?
Just that you have all been supplied with a packet, an application packet. In that packet is her, Ms. Wolf's application, as well as diagrams of the salon area of her house itself and the overall property, showing the parking area, the salon area. Also attached to that is a narrative of her intentions and operations, as well as a letter from Gary Wilding of KBA that is of particular note because with the salon, the issue is normally the septic, because this is not on central sewer. So we did some investigation on the septic system, and in Gary's letter, to summarize, Ms. Wolf installed a water meter on March 31st, 2017. She took daily readings, which were then sent to Gary Wilding, and he did average and peak flows during that period, because the system is designed for 400 gallons per day, which is a normal 3-bedroom home, and a single operator beauty shop is assessed at 200 gallons per day by DEP, so 600 gallons per day would be considered a peak flow. However, those numbers are normally high from DEP, and people don't use that much water. So he had the meter installed and had the readings taken on a daily basis. And Ms. Wolf was well under the limitations of her system. Currently, her weekly flows are averaging 216, 250, 209 per day. So there's ample room in the system to accommodate the single operator salon. The only thing that he does recommend is that as part of your approval that you average daily flow exceeds 400 gallons per day, that she would add another tank in line with her existing tank, which would be able to handle the overflow. That's, you know, under the assumption that she gets busier and uses more water, but she would have to go up substantially to go past that 400 at this point. She would have to double her water usage for consumption.
Once the second tank fills, wouldn't the same amount of south tank still getting the same amount of water? Once that tank fills?
It would, but it
It's
would
just
be.
going to take a little while for it to catch up.
And it would be
have
water.
the same dispersion.
Right, I think the concern is if the flow increases, the septic doesn't have as long to stay in the tank to be destroyed by the bacteria, but with the two tanks, it would go from one to the next one, and it would give it more time to sit. Because ultimately, all the water ends up in the drain field. The idea is that when it goes out, it doesn't go out as sewage. So, like I said,
That's what I'm concerned about, the drain field, that would handle it.
Yes, he said currently that would handle it, and the additional water could be, if it went over 400, it could be handled with an additional tank. Anything over and above that, they would have to look at something completely different, and that it does say that in here. But I would think that would be a ways down the road. She would have to double her consumption plus, then go up another 200 gallons a day after the additional tank was added. So I think we'd be a ways off from that.
Okay. Have, under section 608.2, which is the section that governs conditional uses of the Scott zoning ordinance, it requires a review by the Scott Township Planning Commission. Has that been done?
That was done this evening. They unanimously voted to recommend it to the Board of Supervisors for approval with Gary Wilding's recommendations as a condition.
Any other conditions that they recommended?
No.
And I'm guessing that they reviewed the specific criteria as outlined in the ordinance under 608.4.
Yeah, it's actually all addressed in her narrative for the most part. So.
Do you have anything else?
I do not. The only other section is 408, and most of it really doesn't apply. Lighting, glare, noise. This is not an entire salon. It's not. She's not having bands. There's no the lighting, glare, noise, nuisance section. All of that stuff is not applicable to this application.
Okay. Is there any members of the board have any questions of Mr. Farrar? Any other questions?
I have a question.
We're getting to it next. You'll have your chance. Is there any member of the public who's here to address this application this evening? Having seen no one, let's turn to Ms. Wolf. Lena?
Sure.
Lena, would you mind allowing the court reporter to swear you in, please?
Of course. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Can you spell your first and last name? Lena, L-E-N-A. Wolf, W-O-L-F-E. Thank you.
So, Ms. Wolf, you are the applicant, correct?
Yes.
And we have a copy of your application and packet that our zoning and code enforcement officer, Mr. Farrell, has identified. Would you like to give some additional testimony and/or explanation in your own way as to what it is you're looking to do with this property?
I installed a two-chair salon. In the future, I may ask permission to hire and things like that. But for now, I just want to, service my clientele. I have 15 years in the industry. I bought the house in Scott Township in 2007, and this was kind of our idea right from the start. We had our septic system inspected for our own doing back in 2010, right before we purchased. Our patio has some water damage, and the plumbing for the septic runs underneath it, and we needed to make sure that they didn't have anything to do with each other. So we hired Homer Butler from Butler Septic. He is a top-rated septic inspector in Pennsylvania to inspect our system. Unfortunately, I could not get my hands on that report. They had a computer problem. But he was able to tell Gary Wilding verbally that everything was good with the system, and apparently his inspections go far beyond the routine township inspections, which were already done. And, you know, we do have a couple other options if you guys want to hear them for the future if there is a problem. He proposed even a little bit more than Gary Wilding did. Not that it's necessary, but it would solve any environmental concerns that they came up, such as an aerobic system, which is a second tank that would be put before my tank, like Gary Wilding suggested, except this tank has power run to it. My husband is an electrician. This tank has power run to it and essentially is agitated all day long and increases the bacteria in the system. It is the way sewage treatment plant is set up, and you know we're definitely on board to track everything and do this if necessary. So essentially it would not solve the water consumption, but it is the way, I guess, if you wanted to add an addition onto the house, this is his version of the solution. And it wasn't an addition, it was existing, but the water flow certainly wasn't. So by the time it would get to the drain field, if it was done through an aerobic system, the water would be 100% clarified, sewage treatment plants doesn't need the crick factors, so you could drink it, which solves my concern of my 3-year-old and my dog and things like that, and hopefully the township's concern. We definitely are prepared to do that in the future if there's a problem. But other than that, I mean, I have an array of services. I specialize in Goldwell color. I just got certified last month to carry Nick Arrojo's Arrojo American Wave products, and it's an Arrojo Ambassador Salon. I have all the credentials. I have my state business license issued on March 3rd. My cosmetology license was issued back in 2002, I believe in July that year. And I have about 15 years experience in the industry. So I do feel confident that I can, successfully run the business. I don't know if you have any questions.
My only question was, I guess you might have answered already. This one was already inspected by the state?
Yes,
and
I have
it's
state
already-
license issued on March 3rd.
That was my whole question.
Any other supervisors have any questions of Ms. Wolf? Ms. Wolf, I'll note for our record that your application packet, pretty extensive, did a very good job. I just want to go through to know for the record what's in the packet that I think that we should introduce as a board exhibit and attach as part of this evening's proceedings. So it'll be board exhibit number 1, which consists of the following. Is a 1-page Scott Township application for conditional use that's been duly completed and fees have been paid. Second is a diagram of the schematic of the house, showing the location in relation to the home and the layout of the home. And I note that the salon itself is taking up approximately a 25-foot by 15-foot by 30-foot room. Is that correct? That's an existing. It's already existing.
It's already existing.
And that's solely where the salon will be.
Yes, it's 322 square foot.
Third is another diagram which specifically is more of a enlarged version of the salon, the room itself. Next is there's a document entitled Executive Summary, which gives a lot of detail about your company and what your plans are, who your target market is, what you plan to do there, your hours of operation. How many minimum 8 to 10 appointments per day, 40 per week, scheduled by appointment only. Next, there's a business plan, which you submitted, which gives a little more information about your background and experience. And then a document titled SWOT Analysis, aka Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. Another document entitled Operations. And then last but not least, as Mr. Ferraro indicated, the April 17, 2017 letter submitted by KBA Engineering regarding septic system. So we'll mark that as a board exhibit number 1 collectively. Okay, any questions?
Is that ground level or?
It is ground level. It's a ranch. There's one room upstairs, but the salon itself is ground level, yeah.
Okay, well, at this time, do you have anything else you want to add, ma'am?
The only thing else that I wanted to say, and the reason why I put that I would accept 40 appointments per week, is the obvious matter is water consumption. So I'm currently averaging 157.59 gallons of water a day. And with accepting 40 appointments per week, I would have to use 58 I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I have to use over 58 gallons of water on each client. So essentially each client could shower 3 times and flush the toilet twice for me to have to go over what the regulations are for water consumption for my system.
I did have one additional question. I think you had mentioned in the beginning about possibly expanding to a second silos in the future.
I would like to if everything goes appropriately, yeah.
Okay. Well, that may or may not be an issue, and I'm going to kind of guide the board on that later on.
Sure.
So maybe there might be a condition added that you may have to, would you be agreeable to have to come back to the township to seek approval if that were
Yes.
going to be the case? Because there are certain limitations that in the ordinance.
During the planning commission meeting, actually, I told her that she would actually need variance to that because the home occupation only allows the resident of the home. So I did tell her that in the planning commission meeting, that she would have to come back for a variance to expand it to another operator.
That's what I was going to address, and I thank you for that, because there are limitations under home occupations
Okay, thank you.
that may not be allowed without special
Okay,
approval.
and I can go directly to Carl to
We need another hearing on that whole thing, but yes, that's, yeah.
It'd have to go to the zoning board, actually.
I have another question, actually. My signage, do I need another meeting and everything to go to signage?
No, the home occupation approval allows, it includes signage. I believe it's 4x6. I'll check to make sure
Yeah.
exactly the size, but I believe
Thank
it's
you.
4x6. It allows for a 4x6 sign.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public that would wish to speak on this? Okay, hearing none. As far as just some legalese, Mr. Farrell's kind of said it all. This is a use that's allowed. This is an RD zone. Home occupations are allowed in an RD zone. It appears to me that legally this application and the testimony and evidence that we've seen squarely falls under section 401 for home occupations. And given everything, I would recommend approval to the board of supervisors, with the condition that that's outlined. We'll attach KVA's letter as a condition of the approval, and also with the further understanding, which is law anyway, but you would need to come back if you were to expand your business in any way or change anything.
Can you add that to the motion?
Yeah, I'll add it. Okay. If there's nothing further, we'll conclude the hearing. Close the record. Yeah. Oh, you do? Yep. Yep. All right. My agenda.
Rick is writing, motion number 4, and with that, we're gonna add motion 10 to hire Scribe Sanitation to supply dumpsters for the May cleanup. As soon as, Rick is done with this, I'll read it.
Okay, so we're officially now going into the regular month.
Yes.
So 10 was, what's 10? Scribes?
Hire Scribe Sanitation to supply dumpsters for the May cleanup.
All right, so 2.
Rick's going to read motion 4, and then we'll open up for public comment before we vote on it.
Okay, so the motion will read to approve the conditional use application of Lena Marie Wolf to operate a home occupation of a hair salon at 202 Country Club Road, Scott Township, subject to the condition of the KBA letter of April 17, or 17, April 17. And that no further expansion of the business or property be allowed without further township approval.
Do we have any public comment? Public comment? I'll make a motion to approve the motion that Rick just read, which was...
So moved. Yeah.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. All right, thank you. With that, we'll move on to Gerard Heppman, Lackawanna County.
Good evening, folks. Gerard Heppman from the Lackawanna County Commissioner's Office. I'm sorry I missed you guys last month. I wasn't feeling well. If I had been here, you wouldn't be able to hear me anyway because I was pretty sick. So,
Good luck.
thank you. Just a couple items to note. The first two are public events that we've had the last several years around the time. We have some date relationship, so we want to mention specifically. The first is our 5th annual Lackawanna County Job Fair. It takes place a little bit earlier this year. It's Thursday, May 25th, 1 to 5 p.m. Same location at PNC Field. We bring in about 60 private employers from in and around Lackawanna County. We ask them to bring all of their available jobs, full-time, part-time, seasonal, and internships as well. So what we found in the last couple of years, we still see folks come in looking for full-time work. We also see a lot of people, young adults, high school, college age, coming in looking for summer work. So we thought if we moved it a little bit earlier, we could cater to that audience a little bit more because we see that as a growing demographic at the event. So a little bit earlier, the same basic drill, everyone is invited. The second one is actually a location change back to the original. It's our annual bike safety fair. We did this for the first couple of years at the Dave Park, and then we switched it to the new baseball stadium when PNC Field opened. This year we're going to go back to the Dave Park. It seems like folks like to bring their families and then play in the park and picnic after they visit the bike fair. So it's going to be May 13th, it's a Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon. We'll have actually one bike at the door that everyone can enter for a door prize. And then we'll leave a stack of these entry blanks with you if you can put them out somewhere here at the Civic Center. We'd appreciate it. Kids can color in the bike helmet. They can mail it in, scan it and email it, or drop it off at the Commissioner's office as long as it's in by May 10th. And then the Commissioners pick one male and one female entrant to win a free bike also. So 3 bikes given away with the event, and every child that attends gets a free bike helmet. So again, come along for that. And the last two here are specific to supervisors and your staff. First is our upcoming, it's a kind of a workshop series, we call it. It's run by our planning and economic development departments. It's coming up on Saturday, April 29th. It starts at 9:15, wraps up around 3 o'clock at the county's 911 center. Easy way to describe it is all of the tasks and occupations that our planning and economic development folks deal with. They have a section in this program to cover that, and they'll basically answer any questions and give you the basics. Planning, zoning, economic development, anything really under their umbrella. So everything from Worded, CDBG, and so on and so forth. It's completely free. If anyone would like to attend, anyone on the days here would be more than welcome. So just let them know in advance. There's a number of emails, RSVP2. And on that note, I think we have one RSVP from this group already, but our municipal mixer is coming up for all of our elected officials and staff. It's Wednesday, April 26th, 6 to 8 p.m. It's now called Via Amore, or with the After 5 Supper Club up in Dixon City. And we do this once or twice a year. We try to invite all the local officials to come out and just talk with commissioners for an hour or two, serve light fare, refreshments. And again, anyone here would be welcome. I think we've got a couple of different faces from Scott in the past. So if you have an RSVP, if you want to come, just let me know, and I'll leave some invitations here with you also. There's a number to call if you'd like to attend. And that's all we have for this month. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go further, we can add motion 11. There's been 2 board members not able to make it. We're going to change the May 16th meeting to Tuesday, May 3rd, or 23rd, at 7 p.m. Is that okay with Mr.
To what date?
Tuesday, May 23rd. And with that, we'll open up public comment on agenda items. Oh, Carl's, that's, sorry about that.
This is a quick one, I just,
Keating Lot Line.
we kind of got mixed in with the commissioners. You guys approved this and signed it on December 20th, 2016. Mr. Keating was gone to India at the time. He does volunteer work over there, and never picked him up, and it never got filed. And obviously the 90 days has passed. So Joe Barrett, his supervisor, or his surveyor, has asked him to have these re-signed so that he can pick them up and file them. It was a lot line combination of 3 lots into one up at Steins on Smith Court. Just taking 3 parcels, one with this house on, the other 2 vacant lots, combining it all into 1 lot. And like I said, it was approved on December 20th, 2016. Just these 3 lots being combined into 1.
That's on the Carl.
It's on there.
Do you have any comments on the lot line combination? With that, we'll move on to public comment on agenda items. Yes, Rose?
On the bills, on the state fund, Powell's for parts, $2,430.26. Whatever equipment, what was that for the parts? And Rossi Rooter, a jet clean, where was that problem? And on the motions,
What's the first one, Rose?
the Powell's, the state fund, $2,000 bill. Says parts for which equipment?
15.
And Rossi Rooter, jet clean, where was that?
Powell's, there should be POs for, Tom said there's about 15 bills, as far as parts on that, Powell's bill for the $2,400. And Rossi Rooter was supposed to be the end of Doris Street. I was supposed to be there when they did it, so I don't know if they did it or not, to be honest with you. I'm gonna have to pull that check.
And Doris,
End of Doris Street. They were supposed to call before they came up to, have someone present with them, and I never received a call, so I can't or cannot verify if they were there. So that check will be pulled.
okay, well, that's most gonna be my next comment. And motion number 7, septic work that was paid and never started, like, what type of septic work?
That was Eric Cobb was going to purchase a piece of land over on State Road 632 on Commerce Drive. And part of the sales agreement required that he be issued a driveway permit with PennDOT and that the land pass perk. He paid KVA to do the perk testing and for a septic permit. However, PennDOT refused to give him a driveway permit to enter the property off the state road, so the deal fell apart. KVA never actually did the perk testing. They never went up there and checked the property, and he was never issued a septic permit, so there was no work ever actually performed for that. And since the deal fell through, he asked for a refund. I checked with Gary, they have no time invested, so they weren't going to bill us anytime, so that was what the refund.
And what is the physical address of that?
It's a vacant lot on State Route 632, up from the Times building.
On number 10, at what cost is that you're going to give to
Same
Scrap?
price as last year.
Pardon me?
Same price he charges last year.
Do you know what that is?
Not offhand, no.
You're not going to make it part of the motion?
We have to pull the records on that, but the verbal quote was, it's the same price as last year. cost hasn't gone up. But it's by the fund.
That's it on the agenda items.
Anyone else?
And I actually have a question, agenda item number 6.
Yes.
I was under the impression that we were going to revisit the specifications for our salt shed with the possible hopes of getting the cost lowered based upon the need of space. And, I see that we're approving the construction.
Well, we didn't approve it yet, it's on here to discuss. We received $58,000 in LSA grants
And
from.
I'm aware of that.
And $25,000 was budgeted from the general fund and $25,000 from liquid fuels to go with this size shed. Gary Wiley's opinion on the whole size of the shed was to go smaller with the same materials was going to be almost as costly as the one on the bid.
Do we have a specification of it? What do we settle on? I don't remember settling on anything, so we're going to try to make it smaller and save some money, like Steve said, and I don't think we ever talked about it.
We approved the bid specs back in last year. It was, I believe, 40 by 60, 6-foot high walls. Needs a truss roof, 40 foot deep, just no doors, just one opening, 3 sides. All right, we'll table it, but my guess would be we're no longer going to hold the price after tabling it tonight, so trying to fall, be bid again. Motion number 8. Let's bring up the vote and see if it passes. I'll just bring up the vote, doesn't pass, doesn't pass, and we'll start over again. Now, the bid is, now the LSA grant is going to be no good, am I correct, Carl?
No, we have $58,000 for a salt shed. If we change the specifications to make it cheaper, we still have $58,000.
And I have a question, but when you're done, I have one question I forgot on the agenda.
Okay. I need a motion for the approval of board minutes for the meeting of March 21st. I have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
You said that?
Yeah, no, I have a
She said
question
on the
on the
agenda.
agenda item, I
Oh,
forgot.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant later on.
No,
Oh.
on that, on number 8, was that position advertised? Like, how did the public know that there was a position open?
Just to express it, or just expect it.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know there was a position up, and I feel terrible even saying this, but Bob Angeli died, and I wasn't aware of it because he hadn't had meetings in a couple of years anyway. And so I didn't know there was an opening, but then the last couple of months I've had trouble getting people, and so maybe we had to cancel last month because we couldn't get a quorum, and we were barely at a quorum the month before, but he had expressed an interest. He recently retired from UPS, and he expressed an interest in getting involved in the township, so like the candidate, so I don't think we want to do it.
Have it closed? Okay. We did have a motion to approve minutes. Do we have a second? Who made the motion?
No.
I'll second it. Police reports are attached. Roads, I'll deal with that in the supervisor's comments. Parks, recreational report, planning and zoning reports attached, zoning officer reports attached. Tom, do you have anything? No. Financial reports are attached, presentation of bills are attached, supervisors. Hilltop, Carmel, and Mary Street is due to start any day. It was one called. I believe they wanted to start before that snowstorm, but that set them back. All the catch basins and all the stuff is ordered. It wasn't there delivered as of Friday. The road is all marked. We did receive a $58,000 LSA grant. I'd like to thank Representative Sid Michaels and John Blake for that. Whether we received the salt shed, I don't know. We've been trying to grade roads. They're just, one today was, it could have probably been done. Other ones are not ready. They're still pumping water. Also, I forgot completely about it. We need a new stinger edge for the grader. I have two quotes. One was for $37.61.39. That's with all bolts, the carbide tip short retainers, and the blades themselves. And one from 5 Star was for $4,976.60, and that was for the same on materials.
What's that for?
The stinger cutting edge. I just pulled out, there's 5 pieces there, and every one's broken, and the ones that aren't broken, the welds are, they're cracking. I think it's 6 years old now. Yeah. Questions in regards to that? You want to put that on for a motion or? True. Yep. After that motion 12 to approve the purchase of a Scarfire blade and the tips and the bolts. I guess it's John Bottom Road Equipment Supplies in the amount not to exceed $3,700 and $3,761.37. That'll be motion 12. Do I have any comment on that?
What was that price again?
$3,761.37.
And how many quotes did you get?
2.
The other one shot at?
Yeah, I looked at it again today. We've already rebuilt it once. Brought new keepers on, and new keepers are breaking off, and even the center ones, which I thought we could get away with, they're starting to crack in the center of the blade as well. It's
What is it, a 3-piece or? Is it
4 pieces. There's 3 3-foot sections and a 4-foot section, and there's 72 or 78 carbide tips that go on it. The last one, I believe, is 6 years old. That's all I have. Supervisor Russell? Supervisor Nolan? Attorney Gucci?
Nothing additional, no?
Correspondence have been previously distributed. Go on to the motions. I'll make a motion to pay the May payroll. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? I need a motion to pay the general fund and state fund bills as presented. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the financial reports as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 4 is addressed already. I'll make a motion to reapprove the Keating lot line combination. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion to award the construction of the salt shed per specifications to Rock Bottom Construction in the amount of $108,600 as bid in August 16, 2017. So August 16, 2016, sorry, Tom. Do I have a second?
We're gonna table all of that.
Motion fails for lack of a second.
Well, you're gonna reject it. Or you're gonna reject the motion.
They're not gonna hold the price.
There was no second.
There was no second to the motion.
There was no second, Stan, so They can't even vote on it.
I realize it can't be voted, but bid was out there within over the price. So,
It's gonna have to
going
be.
to say that it's null and void now?
I would believe by virtue of the inaction that it's been essentially rejected de facto. De facto rejection.
Well, I know we had the right to accept or reject, and just sort of contract it with no.
Yeah.
That he's not saying, well.
To me, it's a deemed
Did you look
rejection.
into the reverter clause on the township's property, that this shed's supposed to be done in April?
I've never had any
We
involvement.
have time, I talked to them, they're
They
okay.
have time for us to rebid it and?
Yeah, they're.
Rick,
they
I
were
was
open
under
to
the
it.
impression that at the beginning of the meeting, we asked that the motion be tabled. But, I mean, maybe I missed something.
I mean, honestly, I feel it's 6 of one or half dozen of the other. I don't know if it has any, tabling it or just inaction on it is the same. I mean, it wasn't seconded, so there was no official action on it, Steve.
We do need the salt shed. It needs to be built by a certain time.
The original purchase, I believe, of the land was, that we would do our best to get it done by April 2017. I did talk to Slipco when we applied for the grant, and they were thrilled that we were taking action on it, so they're not holding anybody that this year, they said as long as we're working on it, they're happy. So,
Do you think the size is correct, Ed? Do you think that's the size we should go with? Can we do any better?
Without Gary Wilding here, I mean, he gave his opinion that it's gonna cost almost the same price to do, I believe it was 20 by 40 instead of 6. I forget now what the actual specs were. It's been so long, it's been since August. I believe it was 40 by 60, am I correct, Stanley?
Someone's running, but
And they wanted to
don't
change.
cut yourself short.
They wanted to go down,
Because-
they wanted to go down to 40 by 40 or.
It's a whole lot easier to build it now than to add to it later on.
what
All
was
your
bid?
anti-skid sets outside. that
What was
would
bid was
be-
40 by 60.
That would be inside. You'd have your anti-skid and your salt inside. Right now, you use about a third of what anti-skid you have underground, you use about a third of it. The rest of it is frozen solid. If you put it inside, you'll use every bit of it because it doesn't freeze, because there's no moisture.
Even this last storm, when we had 3 foot of snow on it, there was no way getting, it was pretty much useless.
And we would be obligated for $50,600?
Yes. It's my understanding that, we can do the site work and we can do the footers, and that would actually take money off. I didn't get into specifics with,
How much?
I didn't get into those specifics because I wasn't even sure we were gonna do this tonight.
Then you're changing the specs as you're going digging the footers. Site work, you said you was gonna dig the site work. But if you go digging the footers, now you change the specs of the project. So maybe somebody else was gonna dig it or bid high because of rock. You know, you got rock in that area, which is a good thing because you'll have it on solid ground. But, once you start changing things, you're changing the specs of what everybody bid on. So anybody can come in here and go after you for changing the specs of that after the fact.
I'm sure that if you guys wanted to talk to Gary or whatever, I can get back on the hold until the next meeting, provided that there's, I mean, even now, they're saying that they would honor that bid, provided there hasn't been any huge increase in lumber peg prices or anything. So, I mean, even now, them hold the bid's conditioned upon they could be in the same price as when they bid it. But, I mean, I'm sure I can get them to hold off one more month if you guys want to talk to Gary.
Let's do that.
You were gonna rescind the.
Or what's our-
No,
What is table motion 6?
Effectively, you are half tabled
Okay.
by virtue of a lack of second. So you can call it tabled if you like.
Okay, great.
Rather than Tom, motion made, discussion, decision to table if you want to put it
I need a motion to refund Eric Cobbs $400 for subject work paid and never started. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. I'll make a motion to appoint Walter Peregrine to complete the unexpired term of Rob Angeli on the Scott Township Planning Commission. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the request of Elizabeth Kowalski to add 71 plus or minus acres of land in the Scott Township agricultural secure area.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
No. I need a motion to hire Sprague Sanitation to supply donuts for the May cleanup. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to change the May 16th meeting to May 23rd at 7 p.m. With work session at 6 a.m., 6 p.m. if needed. Do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to purchase a scare fire blade with the attachments not from John Bottom Supply not to exceed $3,761.37. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
And what was the exact amount on that?
3761.37. With motions completed, we'll move on to public comment. Yes, Rose?
On number 2, when you approved the state bills, I thought you were going to hold out with that Rossi Rooter,
I'll just pull the check out in the back.
but you approved it.
You can still hold the check. We've done it before.
Okay. And that number 10, the scribes, you didn't include that it was the same as price as last year. And now you're changing the meeting May 23rd, and you said work session is 6. Is there definitely a work session, or you got to check if there's a work session?
No, you usually hear, well, you know before there's going to be a work session.
Well, okay, so we still have to
There's
check.
no work session planned as of now.
Oh, well, that's what I was wondering if it was planned. Did you have an executive session meeting last month after the regular meeting?
I don't recall.
I thought you did.
I don't recall having one of those.
Oh, okay, because it wasn't announced. I thought that there was one.
No, I don't recall. No, we were signing checks. Yeah, no, that's right. Anything else, Rose? No? Anyone else?
I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
On cleanup, are you gonna do it on the parking
No.
lot? I was gonna say, geez.
No.
Hey, don't do it on the parking
No,
lot. because-
no, he called me that night, he goes, "You're not doing it in the parking lot." I said, "Good thing you reminded me." I said, "Because we have enough space over there cleaned up now." And,
Nobody can tap anything down without putting a bucket on.
oh, I know, trust me, I know.
Where's it gonna be added, on the third side?
I'll be on the dirt side by where the salt shed's at now, we cleaned up most of it, the only little pile of stuff with material we can get, dumping on that 30 acres of well let out. But no, it's not gonna be on, we're actually, I think, gonna start tomorrow, if the weather holds on, backing up some of those, that parking lot to get the grass planted up there before it gets cracked up on the edges. Anyone else? No, with that, I need a motion to adjourn. I'll second. All in favor? Aye.